guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sonnet with Sonnet's Garden Blooms. I want to thank you all for stopping by. Now in today's video, we are going to tackle 4 signs that I am bringing with me to Cranberryfest. And I had set amounts that I want to bring, and I really tried my hardest to get them all completed for this video. This video was supposed to be up on Friday, and dry times, let me tell you, it's been hot and humid here in Wisconsin. Normally, when I am prepping for Cranberryfest, I am bundled up, cold. I'm not complaining, but honestly, it is really warm. I have been sweating like crazy. It's been crazy, insane warm. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I can't wait to hear what you guys all think.
For project 1, this sign has gone over very well for me in the past. So typically I bring the colors red, black, and like a charcoal, and I've also done white. This year I'm also adding green and blue to the lineup. And I decided to make 6 of each color, and the method to my madness behind 6 of each is I do have 3 booths. So let's say I don't sell a single sign, I will have 2 signs for each booth is how I figured it out. So I start off and I paint each of the bases whatever color I'm doing. So this one is Marquee, the red Marquee from DIY, and I just do a very thin layer of Marquee to the entire piece. After it dries, I always talk about how I distress it, and a viewer did say, you need to show us that. So on the next video, I promise I will show you how I distress these boards. But basically what I do is I take my hand sander and I sand them, and I just sand them enough that it brings out the wood grain. So I do have stencils. I did cut out the H, the M, and the E, and a while ago I did purchase the Wisconsin stencil. I definitely have gotten my money's worth out of that. I am taking White Swan from DIY, and what I discovered since I've been using the DIY paint, it really is nice and thick, that there's not a lot of like bleed through for the stencils. So I do 2 coats. So a very light coat, 2 light coats is what I do for the stencils. And the only thing that you do have to do when you're using the DIY paint is you do need to seal it. So after I get done stenciling, I do apply 1 nice even coat of Big Top to each of these pieces. But this is such a quick and easy way to produce a bunch of signs. And I just set up an assembly line like this, and I just tackle them one by one, and I was able to produce 6 green, 6 red, 6 black, 6 of the gray, and that is quite a few boards, guys. So I am very excited that I was able to accomplish this and check this off my to-do list. So now I'm just going to peel back the stencils, and you can see how nice and clean the stencils look with that DIY paint. And one little added thing that I do, because the boards are distressed, I actually distress the stencil itself like with my, I took a sanding block and I just rough them up. project 2, I actually made these for the very first time last year, and I just brought a couple and they did all sell. So this year I am making 6 little ones and 4 big ones. These are pretty time consuming, and this is one of the reasons why I did not get this video out on Friday. So first of all, these are what I call my rising suns, and I take a board and I create like a half sunrise, and then I'm going to take my paints and I am going to create actual sunrise. So here you can see all the boards laid out, and I like to do this in an assembly line fashion, and I just start picking one color and I just start going to town. And here is a bunch of the colors that I had chosen. Now, this is where things went a little awry here. So I am outside in the sun and not thinking that my paint was warming up. So if you do try to do something like this at home, make sure that your paint is not overheating. In one of the clips, you're going to see where like the orange and the red just like gush out. I did salvage it, and I just kind of call it as like part of the creative process. But basically I just take it and I just start rubbing, squeezing the bottles and rubbing it all back and forth to create rays of suns, or rays of the sun. And I just randomly pick and choose different colors, and just I want each of them to be very unique and different. And I'm going to let you watch as I create these beautiful sunrises. Now that they're completely dry, I did let them dry overnight. I am taking my 1x2s and I am just cutting a frame for them. And the easiest way that I found to do that is basically I hold it flush to one side and I take my pencil and I just draw a line exactly where I want to cut. And I do that to all 4 sides, and then I do this for each of the rising suns. After I get them all cut, I am going to show you what it actually looks like. Here you can see it's a really nice added touch to create that little border. And after that, I stain each of the boards. And I do recommend that you wear gloves when you're staining, And then I know that many people probably think, what the heck are you doing with a rig? But this is how I stain all my boards, and I stained all of my tree trunks the exact same way. I just feel like there's more control, and I don't like using a paintbrush for stain. After that, we are going to brad nail these babies on, and I just put one. You're just going to have to be very careful when you do the brad nailing with the wood, as not to have one shoot out. You want your brad nailer to be nice and level so that it doesn't go awry, and be very careful that you do not brad nail your fingers. For my third sign project, I am using Little Black Dress, and I am going to be painting just a nice thin coat again of paint. This is a Drink Local sign, and this has been very popular, a really great sign to give as a gift. And that saying goes over really well here in Wisconsin. So again, I am just doing a thin layer of paint. That way I can take my hand sander and distress it back to show the grain of the wood. So here you can see I distressed it. Now on the back side, I always stain the back side of all of my signs, and I just go down an assembly line and stain them all after I'm finished. So here I am taking, I had printed this Drink Local saying off a while ago, and I'm just taking, oh gosh, now I can't even think of the name of it. But basically, I'm tracing that saying right onto the sign, and I am going to hand paint this with a paintbrush. And I know that many of you will say, well, why don't you use the paint pens? But I have tried those so many times, and they always seem to dry up on me. So I use them for whatever project. I go back and they're totally dried up. So I just hand paint with a paintbrush, and to be honest, it probably is as quick as if I were to use a paint pen. So I just dip my paintbrush in there, and I just basically trace the entire saying. And like I said, it goes on really quick, and I can crank these out in no time. So after I do that, then I let it dry, go back, and I put on the bottle cap remover. And I used to buy these really expensive screws, and I would only get like 6 in a pack, and I'd pay a couple bucks for them just so that they'd match. Now what I do is I just go to Walmart and I buy an industrial pack of these little screws, and then I take layered chocolate by DIY, and it matches up with it perfect. And all I have to do is just dab a little bit of the layered chocolate onto the screw heads, let it dry, and then when I do a clear coat over the entire piece, I just clear coat those as well, and it seals them right in, and it's like I had spent the money on those expensive screws. Now I'm going to reuse that stencil that I did in that first sign that I made, and we're just going to stencil on the Wisconsin on here, and then you have your totally finished sign. I absolutely love these, and like I said, these go over really well. They are a great Christmas gift. So even for you folks in different states, if you can get your state cut out, that would be a great gift to make or a sign to produce for your booths. Many of you may be thinking, where is that fourth sign that I talked about with my intro? And honestly, I did not get all of them finished. And so that will be probably on a future video. And honestly, I am exhausted from accomplishing all of this and then also cutting and painting 100 trees. So I can't wait to show you all of this in my booth at Cranberryfest.
So that was a lot of signs that I produced. Many of you probably were wondering, if you're following along on Facebook, I did make a post, and in the post I asked, how many trees do you think I'm bringing to Cranberryfest? Well, the answer is 100. I know it's a bit extreme, but last year they went over so well. So I am bringing 10 of each color. And okay, I should say I'm going to try, after I was staining all the stems of the trees, or the trunks I should say, not stems, but I'm like, these are the never-ending trunks. So in the end, after I stained 100 trunks, painted 100 trees, I am now going to start assembling them today after I get this all done. So I am completely exhausted, if you can imagine. This weekend I have worked on completing all these signs, getting the trees done, working on barn quilts. My objective of trying to get 60 done by Friday did not happen. We had a lot of wet weather. Just building the signs it took a lot because everything was drying so slow. So if I didn't have bases built, I couldn't make them. Now that the bases are built, I've been making them, and in between doing everything else. So one thing that I think I'm going to have to axe from my to-do list is those up north signs that I've been talking about. I just cannot take on another project. This weekend, my husband helps me with quite a bit of items. Just having that extra hand to cut some boards, put things together really helped. And now he is going to be going away on a fishing trip this coming weekend, so it is just me, which is fine. But I just need to wrap things up, and then next week, Wednesday, is my last day of work. So working on items. So I have, and from, well, Monday to Wednesday. So yes, I do have quite a few days, but keep in mind, I also have, a family as well. So, I'm gonna just try to tackle as many items each night. On my off day, which is Wednesday, so next Wednesday, I am going to be tackling all the large barn quilts. So I'm gonna bring 10 33 inchers, 2 44 inchers, 2 round ones, And that is what I'm going to be tackling on Wednesday. So I am going to draw them all out, paint them all, get them all set. That is Wednesday's project. And then Thursday and Friday, I'm just going to keep on keeping. And so I'm very excited. I have another entire weekend just to try to wrap everything up, get everything priced, and then like reevaluate by Friday and figure out what I need to do. So, but Friday's video, I think I'm going to try to tackle one more flip, guys, because there are some items that I do want to bring to Cranberryfest that I need to flip. So I might as well show you what I'm doing with those. So you guys have a great week. This is me exhausted. I am kind of at my breaking point today. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and we will see you Friday. Bye.